to another superb weekend of the BRSCC MX-5 Championship. We're about to go out for race 1B here at Silverstone, where we're doing rounds 13, 14 and 15. We see Matt Pollard on pole position.
Absolutely. Matt Pollard, pole position, did an average speed around this 1.64 mile circuit of just over 80 miles per hour. Can he keep that speed up during the race? Who knows? The clouds are coming in. There could be rain. It's going to be exciting to watch. It's over to Jake Sanson.
Thanks, Lyndsay and Lloyd. This one could get interesting. That rain is looking ominous. Matthew Pollard and Richard Wootton on the front row from John Pethick and Scott Leach. Greatrex and Chisnell on the third row from Muggleston and Bryn Griffiths. On row 5 it is Charlie Rawls and Jack Moody. Tim Hutchinson and Bill Taylor come next. Then it's Russ Lyndsay and Anthony Hutchins. Graham Rumsey and Bruce Carter. Jake Stiles in 17th on the grid alongside Alan Hawkins. Oliver Graham and Dale Whiteman from Luke Souch and Orlando Lyndsay. Bruce Robinson lines up beside the new boy Chi Mung. And then we have Richard Bartlett, Chris Ginn, James Love, Chris Wilson and David Rickards. And looking at the way that weather system is blowing in over the Silverstone National circuit, I think there's going to be rain sooner rather than later, and that could make things very tricky around this fast sweeping circuit. It's a mini Monza, this Silverstone National circuit. Let's see how they cope with the changeable conditions. Clive Chisnell we're on board with at the start. No rain at the moment, although there have been a couple of spots by the look of it, and we're underway here at Silverstone. Now Chisnell will want to get a good start from the third row. Callum Greatrex to our left, going to go into Copse Corner, slightly in front of our opponent as we go through turn 1. No problems at all off the start. It looks like everybody's through neat and tidy. That is Bryn Griffiths going door to door with Charlie Rawls. They were about close to each other off the start line as they go down towards Maggots at the start of the first lap. Tiptoeing his way through, that is Richard Wootton through into the lead on Matt Pollard at the start. So as they go through Beckett's for the first time, a little bit slippery, but everybody through okay. On board with Robinson up the inside there, making the move on the 291 of Luke Souch as he gets through on the exit of Beckett's. Now we're powering down the straight. Up through the gears. Just a quick flick over the shoulder to have a look in the rearview mirror, just to see how things are going down into the braking zone. Pollard's about to lose second and third. In fact, up the inside, that's John Pethick, who's got through already. And I think that is Callum Greatrex through into third position as they tiptoe their way as carefully as they can through Brooklands without scrubbing off too much speed. So they've got to be careful on the way through Luffield as well. The whole field getting through neat and tidy. Greatrex through in a third position. Not a bad start. Wootton in the lead. Pethick second. And then Greatrex in third in front of Pollard and the 96 of Charles Muggleston. Good start from Muggleston up into 5th position there in front of, I think that is still the 13 of Scott Leach. We're on board with Clive Chisnell. He's going to dive up the inside here, making the move up past the 45 of fast starting Graham Rumsey. Is Chisnell going to get through? Not at the moment. Is side by side as they drop down towards Maggots and Beckett's. Look at the windscreen. You can see that the rain has started, and it started in earnest. It's very heavy already, so it has suddenly occurred on the second lap as diving up the inside of us is Jake Stiles, who is already on the charge. He's made up a lot of places on this first couple of laps. Either that or Clive Chisnell has lost a lot. It's probably a combination of the two. But look at the rain on the windscreen now as they dive up the Wellington Straight under the bridge. It is windscreen wipers ablaze as they go into Brooklands turn, the left-hander. That is Pollard, still all over the back of Greatrex for 4th position. Now, are we going to see a few cars drift out sideways? Well, we're going to see a couple of 3 wide as they go through. But at the moment, no major catastrophes. The rain is only just starting, and it's at certain sections of the circuit, but it's not at others. So there are parts of the circuit that are getting greasy and still a little bit slippy, but it's going to get worse rather than better. The clouds overhead are thick and grey, so we're going to get a lot of slipping about. Up towards Copse, it's still Wootton from Pethick and Greatrex, making a bid for Pollard up the inside there. Into 4th position was Charlie Rawls, 3 wide further back. That's Hutchins up the inside of Bryn Griffiths and Bill Taylor as they go very wide. Well, Bryn Griffiths goes very wide out of Copse Corner, back onto the power, and now the rain is particularly heavy on this part of the circuit, so the drivers are going to really struggle to get the car slowed down. Hutchins overshoots. He's going to lose at least 1 place, possibly 2 or 3. That's Hawkins, Griffiths, and the 28 of Timothy Hutchinson, all in there trying to get one up the inside. A brilliant bit of battling. This is what rain does at Silverstone on the national circuit. It's an incredible leveller. Pollard now diving up the inside of Greatrex, Rawls diving up the inside of Muggleston, and as they break for the next turn, it is the 544 of Jack Moody in 7th position, leading a mass swarm of cars. Look at this, everybody trying to get through, all in unison. It's like rush hour on the M25 out there at the moment as they duke for position through Luffield. That is the 24 at the back of the queue, Oliver Graham, trying to move up a couple of places as they get back on the power out of Luffield, and you can see the back end of a couple of cars starting to get loose, so the water on the circuit is definitely increasing. That is Alan Hawkins going round the outside of Graham Rumsey, and lining them up is the blue machine there of the 29 of, I guess that's the 29, it could actually be Timothy Hutchinson thinking about it as they come off the turn. So these are the leaders, and it's Pethick now leading. So Pethick's got past Wootton, and Greatrex is going to try and make the same move. Through Maggots, he gets there, no problem at all, as they break for Maggots Beckett. It's all fine and dandy. That is Moody there in front of the 44 of Bill Taylor, and everybody's swarming. A little patch of sunshine there through Beckett's, trying to stop the rain, but it is still falling in buckets at various points of the circuit. You can tell on board with the 74 of Clive Chisnell, and we can see that there's a lot of rain on the camera lens, there's a lot of rain on the windscreen, but he's got a good line off of Beckett. He's going to get up the inside of the 28 of Tim Hutchinson. Is he going to be able to make another place on Wootton, who's tumbling down the order? Wootton really not handling the wet weather conditions at all well. Oh, and who's that that's popped up on our right side? That is the 24 of Oliver Graham charging his way through, so he's come through onto the inside line. Now that is Greatrex in front of Pethick. So Callum Greatrex leading the way now from John Pethick in 2nd position. The rain is fairly even around the circuit. You can't really see it in places, but there's definitely a hint of rain in various parts of the circuit. You can see it now, though. That corner, that camera at Cops Corner, really showing just how much rain there is on the circuit, and this is when things could get pretty spicy. Greatrex in front of Pethick, Pollard in 3rd position, in front of Rawls as they get down to the braking zone for Maggots and Beckett, and oh, that's Pollard, he's missed his braking point. Goodness me, Callum Greatrex was lucky to avoid impact there. So Pollard, in the wet conditions, it looks to me as though he's just missed his braking point, but now he's got to turn back on the circuit and rejoin at the tail end of the field. What a disaster for the pole sitter Matt Pollard. He's now got to try and fight his way back. That's how much rain is coming down now. You can see the spray coming off the main straight. The more water goes down, the more water gets kicked up by the tyres, and now we've got Charlie Rawls going round the outside of Richard Wootton, who's made his way back into 4th position, I should say, because Rawls has managed to pitch his way up the inside of Wootton to 3rd. But Greatrex and Pethick really struggling. Greatrex runs wide, and that's enough for Pethick to get through into the lead. Rawls is going to get held up, and Wootton spins. Wootton spins out of the final turn, and through with him goes Bill Taylor. Taylor pirouettes around. Oh my goodness, there's cars all over the shop as Moody nearly loses it. Hutchins goes wide. There's all sorts of flotsam and jetsam, and that, unfortunately, is the 21 that has gone around big time. Orlando Lyndsay, he's gone off the road as well. Big rain shower now, and the rain is properly coming down. Greatrex has managed to get the car back under control in 3rd position, now being pursued. I think that's Charles Muggleston, the 96, in 4th position. We'll double check as they come towards us, but that is Pethick leading. Rawls in 2nd now, Greatrex in 3rd. The red line machine, number 34, hoping to pursue his brother in crime Jason Greatrex into the A races a little bit later on. A 3rd place finish would get him there, and it is Muggleston in 4th. Yellow flags, I'm guessing that is for Orlando Lindsay's car. They are obviously not allowed to overtake, but in the wet conditions it's going to be harder to spot the yellow flags as they get down to the braking zone. Muggleston looking for a move up the inside of Charlie. You're not allowed to make the move though, Charles, because obviously that is under yellow flag conditions, so he waits for his moment. Rawls meanwhile is getting on with Greatrex. He runs wide at Luffield, manages to tuck back in. So there's clearly a slightly faster line. That is Orlando Lyndsay getting out of the car. Tried to get things going again at Luffield, but double wave yellows now as Rawls gets up the inside of Greatrex, back on the power and down the straight. That's a nice move, and he is going to go through beautifully there into 2nd position, but there's not a lot of room for negotiation. Goodness me, they rub doors as they come back down the straight, and Rawls has to tuck back in. On board with Chisnell, back up the power. Windscreen wipers working hard, but it actually looks as though the rain has eased off a little bit, so Chisnell will get a much clearer view of what's going on around him. What's going to be tricky, though, is what the car is feeling underneath him, because it gets very slippy here very quickly, and every lap is very changeable at Silverstone. It drains very quickly here, so from one lap to the next, you don't really know just how much surface water is going to go down, and that's a move up the inside from Charlie Rawls to get alongside Callum Greatrex. Charles Moggleston reeling in behind him as well. There could be an opportunity as they lap one of the slower cars. I think that is David Rickards, who is the newbie, and Moggleston's going to use this opportunity to dive up the inside of Charlie Rawls and take third position. So Moggleston through into P3, double waved yellows. He's not allowed to go through at Lovefield. I'm not sure if there was a stationary yellow on the approach, but if there was, then Charles Moggleston may have made an illegal move. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. But Pethick is your leader, and he's got a nice gap now, actually. A very big gap for Mazda MX-5 Championship racing, but sometimes the rain can do that. Callum Greatrex second, Charles Moggleston third, Charlie Rawls in fourth. They go down to Copse Corner once again. There is definitely still rain around the circuit, though. All three of the leaders have got their windscreen wipers ablaze. Charlie Rawls doesn't, and Rawls is going to try and knit his way back on the inside of Moggleston off of Copse Corner. Moggleston giving him a little bit of room, but no more than he needs to, that's for definite. And they're getting down to the braking zone, and there was a little nudge as they got under the braking zone there for Beckett, but that's enough, and that's clean enough. So Charlie Rawls is through into third position, not compromising, but definitely not being too argy-bargy there either. So they go down the Wellington Straight once again, up and over the crest they will come. John Pethick being very smart about this in this race. 20 minutes around the Silverstone National circuit, as we know, and hanging on to things. Then it's Richard Wotton behind the leading four. And who's that's come up? That's Jake Styles. Goodness me, Styles started this race in 17th, and he's already charged his way forward. Now Hawkins is about to lose the place to Jack Moody. Moody dives up the inside, but that's Jake Styles in the two, and he's not been lapped. So goodness me, he has charged his way forward. 21. Orlando Lyndsay still in the gravel. 31 going through the picture. That's Bryn Griffiths battling away with Hutchins and Timothy Hutchinson. Bill Taylor is somehow still in the mix there in the 44 despite his spin. And behind him, that's Matt Pollard. So Pollard, I think, that looks to me like the 55 of Pollard, the pole sitter. So he's charging his way back. He's not made as much progress as he would like. It is Matt Pollard, because I can see his pit board is being shown to him and the mechanic waving to him as he comes through. We're on board with Clive Chisnell, who is 2 places back from Matt Pollard. There's definitely still some standing water being sprayed up onto the windscreen as he goes down towards Maggots and Beckett's. Hutchins down the inside of Hutchinson to try and defend the place. Hutchinson going to try and use the long way round and then get the switch back on the inside line. But there's not a lot of grip, and he has to run slightly wide, back on the power, down the Wellington Straight, and trying to get in the wheel tracks of Timothy Hutchinson. Waved yellow, so clearly Bill Taylor's car is not the only one in jeopardy, because I think they've got that move now. Down the inside, that is Hawkins covering Jack Moody. That's not an illegal move at all, because he was in front originally. Oh no, it is for Bill Taylor's car. So basically the snatch vehicle is on the circuit. That's why they've got the stationary yellow flag there. While I say it's on the circuit, it's actually in the gravel trap. They're just moving Taylor's car out of the way and out of harm's way. So that's good news, and that shouldn't take them too long at all. Meanwhile, Pollard trying to get back up the inside of the 28 of Timothy Hutchinson. Pollard was our pole sitter. Hutchinson started the race in 11th. That gives you the idea of the sort of progress Pollard is trying to make. He goes very close up to the pit wall, actually, in his attempts to try and get some of the information. 31 running through. That is Bryn Griffiths being chased down by the 44 now, who's up alongside Hutchinson. So Bill Taylor looking for his way to come through. They're door to door up to the braking zone for Maggots and Beckett's. No major problems at the moment. Round the outside, Bill Taylor's going to get a better run off Hutchinson. That's a nice move around the outside. He's on the curb just a little bit, but that's a fine move from Bill Taylor, and there's not a lot Anthony Hutchins can do in response, and he hasn't got a good enough draft to get through. Now, there's still waved yellows on the way to Brooklands. Now, this is going to be interesting because Griffiths is alongside Moody. He's going to have to let him go, which he does. Moody's going to have to yield to Hawkins as well because the yellow flags, these guys are battling for position. Oh dear, has Pollard made a place under waved yellows? I think he has. He's got past Hutchins, So that's going to have to be investigated after the race, unfortunately. As you can see, the snatch vehicle is still there, recovering Bill Taylor. So whether Pollard made that move before they got to the yellow flags or not, I'm not sure, but it looked to me as though he made the move under yellows. So we'll have to see how he does at the end of the race. It's 3 wide for Copse Corner further back. Chisnell is dropping back a little bit, watching this happen into turn 1. Is there enough room for all 3 of them to go through? Just about, actually. That's fair play. 3 into 1 at Copse Corner is an incredibly brave manoeuvre, and all 3 of them have survived. So very good racing from the Mazda MX-5 Championship. That's what I love about this category. Even in the B race, there is still very close, very clean battling, and that's why these drivers compete in these Mark 1 Mazda MX-5s. It's clean, cheap, affordable, brilliant racing, and there's plenty of opportunities to go to battle. Richard Wooten going out of sight, Jake Stiles going past us, and now there are no yellow flags at Brooklands, so here we go. This is the move up the inside from Jack Moody. He's going to get there. Round the outside, Taylor's going to go alongside Griffiths and Pollard as they battle for position. They come off the turn, having previously been 3 wide. Now they're going to have to try and settle their differences through Luffield. Pollard's got a good run on the outside line. Griffiths trying to maintain it on the inside line. So they get back up to power once again. Through Woodcote Corner, trying to keep the speed on the inside line there. Bill Taylor doing his best to get in the wheel tracks of Bryn Griffiths and use the draft to get onto the inside at Copse Corner. Still a little bit of dust and wind in the air, and a bit of rain too, as up the inside Hawkins gets back on Jack Moody. Pollard drops to the back of this little queue behind Bill Taylor, and it's going to go 3 wide. Hawkins, Moody, and in there as well Bryn Griffiths. Bill Taylor tagging onto the back of Moody as they drift through. Griffiths is going to get past them all. Can he hold it round the outside? Moody's overshot. That's held up Griffiths. Hawkins up the inside. That is Bill Taylor who's gone through. And Pollard is going to get the switch back as well. Hutchins has come up alongside Jack Moody. This is terrific stuff. Very tough to call how this squabble is going to settle itself out. Absolutely brilliant racing. Down to the braking zone. That is the 129 of Chris Wilson. They're coming up to lap. But how are these guys going to sort themselves out? More rain at Brooklands as Taylor goes around the outside of Pollard. That is Moody trying to get back on the inside of Hawkins. Whoa, tank slapper from the 28 of Bill Hutchinson. Timothy Hutchinson. There's so many drivers in this mix. It's difficult to get a handle on your worms. As out of the final turn, back on the straight once again. That is going to be Bill Taylor making his way through. A bit of a slip and slide there from the 28 of Timothy Hutchinson as he now gets alongside Oliver Graham, making great progress through the field, the 24. As now they're all going to start making their move on Wilson in unison. The rain is heavy at Copse. It's not so bad on the other side of the circuit, and that's where the discrepancy lies. A big switch from Hawkins. Somehow he saves the car from a spin. Pollard drifts out wide, and that is Hawkins. Oh, there's a spin in the middle. That's Wooten. Wooten has spun it in the middle of the course. Goodness me, they were lucky to avoid him. Richard Wooten, the luckiest man in Silverstone at the moment, a spin right in the middle of the pack, and they've all avoided contact with him. So they drift through Maggots and Beckett's. The rain has come back in its earnest again. But again, it's raining heavier at other parts of the circuit than at others as they go underneath the bridge on the Wellington Straight. Bill Taylor trying to cut across and hold that inside line. Matt Pollard is obviously on the move trying to make progress, but here comes Bryn Griffiths diving up the inside of Bill Taylor. He's left out braking very late. Moody on the inside of Pollard. Hawkins trying to come around the outside, but Bill Taylor looks to me as though he's hit the front of the queue. So Bill Taylor through Luffield has just gone in front of Griffiths. Then it's Pollard, then Hawkins. Moody's door is left wide open still, and that's a chance for Graham to come up the inside of both of them. He's got on the inside of both Hawkins and Moody. So Graham is going to pass them both in one fell swoop through Luffield, and that's enough of an invite for Tim Hutchinson to get on the inside as well. This is what the racing is all about in Mazda MX-5 Championship. Absolutely incredible. Still they battle away. Still 5 or 6 of them. Who needs to look at the leaders when you've got these guys scrapping away like a pack of dogs? Absolutely brilliant. Graham now on the inside of Hawkins, who drifts wide onto the curb. Hutchinson snakes out again. The back end gets loose. Moody's going to try and split them up the inside. He gets Hawkins and Hutchinson. Can he get up the inside of Graham as well? He's going to have to go round the outside. So amazing moves here as Pollard is going to get a little bit late on the throttle, and that's enough for Graham to get on the inside line. Meanwhile, back at the front end, we've got Callum Greatrex duking it out with Charlie Rawls, and the rain has come back at Brooklands, so they're really struggling to hold on to it. Greatrex drifts out wide. Is Rawls going to get through? Well, he's going to run wide himself at Luffield, and that's going to have to be a brave move to cut across on Charles Muggleston. Muggleston there on his inside line. Charles, hang on to it. Goodness me, that was a proper hoonigan move from Charles Muggleston as the back end properly stepped out there. He manages to save it, and that has kept a chance of 4th position alive. There was yellow flags temporarily at Copse. Didn't see what that was for, but Greatrex just about holding on the inside of Charlie Rawls as they go through Copse corner, and the rain's got heavier again, as you can see on the camera. Spots of rain falling on the lens, and that is Greatrex running wide out of Copse corner, so this is a chance for Rawls to get through. Charlie Rawls will make his bid. Pethick just taking it easy, lapping the 46 there of David Rickards, I think for the 2nd time, as Greatrex tries to hang on in there from Charlie Rawls. Rawls diving up the inside. Is there enough power off the turn? Yes, there is. They're going to go side by side down the Wellington Straight, and it's all going to be about who's got the bravest braking point and who's got the strongest racing line through Brooklands. And don't forget that the normal racing line is not the line you take in the wet conditions at this particular point, because there's so much surface rubber left from tyres on the concrete that the water will actually let you wash it out, and it gets very greasy. So Greatrex on the conventional line, Rawls going slightly deeper, and Greatrex able to get the car stopped in time, but that was very touch and go through the braking point. Now Rawls has got Greatrex lined up. They go past Rickards. Oh, it's a loss. Rawls has lost it. Rawls has lost it right in front of Muggleston, and they do touch, and that is Rawls' race over. Bent suspension. Charlie Rawls is out of the race as they go into the last lap. That is devastating for Charlie Rawls. Oh, a 3rd position guaranteed, and now he's going to go down to the back of the B grid. Wow, that's such a shame. There was not a lot Muggleston could do to get out of the way. Now, is Muggleston going to have enough damage, sustained? Is he going to have any damage enough sustained to get him to the end of the race? This man, however, John Pethick, is going to be the race winner out in front of Callum Greatrex. It's going to be touch and go as to whether Muggleston can get to 3rd place. But Charlie Rawls, devastating bad luck, lost the car out of Luffield and just got tagged by Muggleston enough on the front end of the car that is going to be game over. Down the Wellington Straight one more time into the braking zone. And in the final lap, this is going to be John Pethick, a brilliant victory, his 1st of the season in the wet here at the Silverstone National Circuit. He tiptoes his way through Brooklands, back into the braking zone for Luffield, drifts the car nicely in, is not too hard on the brakes either. He's been very smooth all the way through in very tricky conditions, and now he'll get his just reward. He'll end up in the A group for the 2nd race of the weekend. Down the straight, through Woodcote, a brilliant victory for John Pethick, and that is a beautiful performance here at Silverstone. Over the line, and the job is done. He is absolutely elated, and I think well and truly relieved in the tricky conditions here at Silverstone. A 2nd place for Callum Greatrex in very difficult circumstances, and Jake Stiles powers his way through to 3rd, with Muggleston indeed out of the race with damage. Griffiths in 4th from Jack Moody and Bill Taylor. Matthew Pollard recovers to 7th in front of Graham Wotton and Hawkins. Hutchins, Chisnell and Timothy Hutchinson from Carter and Lyndsay. Whiteman, Souch, Bartlett, Jin and Chi Mung on his debut in the top 20. Fastest lap of the race, Richard Wotton, when he wasn't facing the wrong way, but Muggleston and Rawls join Lyndsay and Leach on the sidelines.
John, congratulations on your 1st win. You must feel really elated at the moment.
Yeah, really good, yeah. Didn't expect to do that today, honestly. Car's much quicker than it was last year after doing some stuff on the engine. And yeah, really chuffed, really happy, yeah.
And a cracking charge through the grid as well.
Yeah, yes. Got the lead about halfway through, I think, and very slippy, but yeah, managed to keep it on track, and yeah, it was really chuffed, really happy. Yeah.
Brilliant, well done. Congratulations once again on your victory.
Thanks, mate.
Firstly, congratulations, Callum. It seemed to get a bit dicey out there with the rain coming.
Yeah, it was quite scary, to be honest. The conditions were just so, you just didn't know what was going to happen, and back end of the car was all over the place, but you just had to keep it as clean as possible. Real clean race though.
Brilliant. So have you got any plans for knowing the rain's going to be here for race 2?
Yeah, just wet setup this time instead of dry, and make as many places as you can. Try and stay in the A.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Jake, congratulations on 3rd place. Another podium for you, but mixed conditions out there.
Yeah, wow, it was a crazy race really. It was dry and that was good, so it was nice and quick. And then all of a sudden the rain just came straight down, just took some people off as well. And then it dried up again, so we're back to racing line, dry racing line, all the rest of it. And then rain came back down again. And it just took everyone by surprise. I think most of us were out on a dry setup, I was as well. And you just had to be so careful and just really delicately cadence braking and balance the car out. So, yeah, interesting.
Well, it seemed to work well for you. We look forward to seeing you out there in the second race.
Yeah, I can't wait.